Welcome to Better Disclosure. This is Lesson 1. Today, we'll start by covering the market context that supports the case for better disclosure all around the world. We'll introduce you to the agreement bypass bias and we'll describe why that matters. We will share our definition of better disclosure and we'll quickly describe an overview of the Better Disclosure Toolkit. We'll also share a series of tactical outputs that help demonstrate how well approaches like better disclosure can work. We're focused on 3 distinct outcomes as part of this micro-learning experience. Number 1, we want you to walk away with the ability to describe the market context that supports the case for better disclosure. This is going to be really important in the context of your workflows and the discussions that you're having on a daily basis. Number 2, I want you to develop the confidence to lead discussions about better disclosure with peers and colleagues so that follow-on action can be taken. And lastly, I want you to know that you're not alone. There's an entire movement shaping up to help you and others make progress. Let's lead with an example to illustrate why we can do better. I'm going to pick on one of the big 4 banks in Australia. Not because there's anything particularly unique about what they're doing, it's just a relatively prominent example that many of us can probably empathize with because we've gone through experiences just like this. Now, let's say I want to sign up for a transaction account with ANZ Bank. That process is pretty simple. For the most part, their team does a wonderful job of making signing up and onboarding and actually utilizing the thing that I want. They do a great job of that. But before I'm able to get the product, I'm forced to agree to not one, but multiple agreements. And in order to be supposedly informed, I'm met with walls and walls of legalese. What you can see here is a very simple readability analysis, grade 16. So I basically need a postgraduate degree in contract law to understand this. Over 33,000 words, and that's just one of the documents. I don't have time. This doesn't make sense in the context of signing up for something that takes a few minutes. This type of contract, this type of legal disclosure is no accident. And what we observe around the world is a phenomenon that we refer to as the agreement bypass bias. Every single one of us have done this, bypassed agreements because they're too hard to engage with, because they're deliberately hidden away. Now, Jamie, I love you, mate. You're good fun. But in this particular case, you provide a great example of what not to do, of how to reinforce the behavioral propensity to bypass agreements. Can you see this? By submitting this form, you agree to our T&Cs and privacy policy. Now, we're not even going to get into that second part. Agreeing to a privacy policy is kind of preposterous. But this is an example of a click wrap contract. And arguably, it's what's often referred to as a dark UX pattern. Although Jamie's based in the UK, I'm based in Australia, as is ANZ Bank, this is a global problem. We observe the behavioural phenomenon of the agreement bypass bias all around the world. Terms and conditions, privacy notices, data protection notices, different types of contracts, particularly those in a business-to-consumer context, are kind of systematically broken. They rely on legalese, they're hidden away, they're designed to protect against class action lawsuits. They're not designed to inform us and empower us in such a way that we are more capable than ever before of making a decision about the type of relationship we'd like to enter into with a given organization. But there's a heck of a lot of good news. There's also a global solution to this global problem. And there is incredible momentum that's already been established. Legal design, contract visualization, contract simplification. There are leaders and practitioners all around the world bringing together the behavioral sciences, human-centered design, and traditional legal practice to make our experience as individuals, as citizens, as consumers with this type of stuff fundamentally better. And it's because of all of this and more that better disclosure was born. So, what is it? Our definition. Better disclosure is an evidence-based approach to designing contracts and legal disclosures that enhance understanding and add value to relationships. But this isn't just an idea, it's a toolkit. The foundation of the toolkit is a body of evidence. We refer to that as our evidence kit. This is something that you'll gain access to. There's the better disclosure canvas. We have the detailed version, we have the light version. Over the coming weeks and months, if you continue engaging with the better disclosure learning stream, you'll start interacting with the canvas too. We have ways of working to support cross-functional collaboration. We have a series of outcome-focused metrics, not business outcome-focused metrics, that's important too, but we're talking about consumer outcome-focused metrics or citizen outcome-focused metrics or student outcome-focused metrics or patient outcome-focused metrics. We have distinct research processes that enable us to build empirical bodies of evidence to support the effectiveness of the better disclosure experiences we've designed. And we have a series of reusable design patterns to make solving similar problems better, faster, cheaper. There are wonderful examples of this all around the world. For instance, a recent program that we ran in the financial services sector enabled us to demonstrate incredible uplift in the consumer outcome focus areas that we were paying attention to. Got the wonderful work of practitioners like Stefania Pesera, who has been highly influential in this space for close to a decade. World Commerce and Contracting, formerly the IACCM, have done a brilliant job, largely thanks to Steph and her colleagues, of bringing together a truly wonderful resource, the Contract Design Pattern Library. This example that you see in the middle, this is from some work that we did with one of our favourite organisations, Regional Australia Bank, on their consumer data right policy. Their requirement was to develop a static PDF. We did that, and it's a pretty darn good one, but we also designed an interactive experience, and thus far it's been performing pretty darn well. But this isn't actually a small group of people. It's pretty big. There are people all around the world working on this stuff. Comic book contracts that work at Stanford. The list goes on and on. And by working together, we believe it is absolutely possible, it is pragmatic, it is preferable to start closing the gap between the ethical intent we have to deliver disclosure experiences that people love and our ability to actually do it.